Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Tea Party with Ghost. I'm Ghost.
I'm Ash.
And what you drinking?
Got lavender chamomile again.
Again. Huh.
I love it.
Yeah, it is really good.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've got nettle tea. So.
I don't think I've actually ever had nettle tea.
Did I not make you some a couple weeks ago?
Mm-mm.
Huh.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's really good.
Well.
I just like tea in general, so.
I mean, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
We made a podcast sort of surrounded by it.
So, for this week, we are taking an adventure to Candy Mountain.
To Candy Mountain, Charlie! Some of y'all may be too young for that.
Yeah. If you don't know what Candy Mountain is, just go onto YouTube and
just
type
don't
in...
do it.
No. Go onto YouTube and type in... Charlie goes to Candy Mountain, and you can thank us later.
Is that even still a thing on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Of course it is. Shun the non-believer.
Goodness. All right, so.
Anyways, this week we are taking an adventure to Arkansas. Or, as it should actually be pronounced, Arkansas, because, you know, there's no W in it. Why the fuck is it called Arkansas?
Well, we have a Kansas, and all they did was put A-R in front of it, so why is it not Arkansas?
Exactly.
We live in the States, and we don't know. I think it's supposed to be French or some shit. I don't remember.
I don't know.
Anyways.
Seriously, I tried finding something interesting here, and the only thing I could literally find that was interesting about Arkansas is Walmart.
The home of Walmart.
Yeah. And then a cryptid. So I snatched the cryptid.
Yeah, well, could have done the origins of Walmart.
You know, I'm sure there was some crazy shit that happened with Walmart in Arkansas. So
probably.
Anyways, so in Arkansas folklore, I'm gonna assume it's Fouke.
I would say it's Fouke.
Anyways, the Fouke monster, also known as the Boggy Creek Monster, and the Swamp Stalker.
The swamp. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. Is purported to be an ape-like creature, similar to descriptions of Bigfoot. And it was allegedly sighted in the rural town of Fouke, Arkansas, during the early 1970s. The creature was alleged to have attacked a local family, and it has since become a part of Arkansas folklore. I was about to say Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yeah.
That's someone from Boston saying Arkansas.
Yeah, that's funny that Arkansas has its own folklore. Like,
I mean, just like we have our own stuff.
I mean,
here.
I guess, but I feel like there's more interesting stuff that happens in Alabama than in Arkansas.
Have you met Florida Man? Florida is the ultimate folklore.
Florida is a cryptid. So.
Cryptid state.
Yeah. Anyways.
So, it has also influenced local culture in Fouke and some businesses capitalizing on the local lore. I mean, why not?
I mean, of course. It's like moth.
I mean, they have nothing else. Might as well capitalize on something.
Yeah.
I've been to Arkansas. There's nothing there.
I have family.
Except for I have family, but I don't claim them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have some family who lives in Arkansas, and they don't got anything to say about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was, the big murder, the West Memphis murder of the little boys.
Did that happen in Arkansas?
Yes, West Memphis, Arkansas. And
I thought it was Tennessee.
No, actually, as soon as you go across the Mississippi River, you're in West Memphis, Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
And that's where my family lives, but that I don't claim. And one of my family members was actually, like, a suspect of the murders. But, anyways, that's the only other interesting thing is that case. Yeah. Anyways. So, yeah, the businesses were capitalizing on the local lore. Mm-hmm. And so stories of this creature influenced the 1972 docudrama horror film The Legend of Boggy Creek, which became the 11th highest grossing film of 1972 and is considered to be a cult classic. I have not seen it, so I'm definitely gonna go watch it.
Need to look into it, yeah.
Yeah. I bet you the graphics or the effects is terrible because it was 1972.
Probably, but
I mean, but there's some pretty badass movies that came from way back then, so. Anyways, the creature was named by journalist Jim Powell, who reported on it for the Texarkana Gazette and the Texarkana Daily News. So what does he look like? Well,
that's a good question.
Probably Chewbacca. Various reports between 1971 and 1975 describe it as being a large bipedal creature covered in long, dark hair, and is estimated to be about 7 feet tall, with a weight of 250 to 300 pounds. Later reports claimed that it was far larger, and one witness described it as 10 feet tall with an estimated weight of 800 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, if something is 10 feet tall and 800 pounds, how the fuck is it not seen more often?
Right? That's all big old...
Big boy.
Big boy.
So, some accounts describe the Boggy Creek monster as running swiftly with a galloping gait and swinging its arms in a fashion similar to a monkey. Okay, so something 10 feet tall and 800 pounds just
galloping away. And they're... Oh, my
that's
Lord.
why I'm laughing.
Yeah.
Reports also describe it as having a terrible odor, and the odor was being described as a combination of a skunk and wet dog, and having bright red eyes about the size of silver dollars.
Okay.
So that is why, in Florida they had the skunk ape, and that's because it smells like a skunk. So my theory is, if it's smelling like a wet dog and a skunk, it's probably some asshole in a Chewbacca costume smoking weed. And, yeah.
I mean...
Because weed smells like a fucking skunk.
Yeah, some of it is.
A variety of tracks and claw marks have been discovered, which are claimed to belong to the creature. One set of footprints reportedly measured 17 inches in length and 7 inches wide.
Gee.
While another appeared to show feet that only possessed 3 toes.
Ellie, that's bigger than you were.
Yeah. Ellie's tuckered out.
She's being so sweet right now.
Her and Ozzy both.
Mm-hmm.
And Cinnamon.
She's our senior cat.
Yeah. She grumpy grandma that doesn't like anybody.
Yeah,
Which, same.
I mean, yeah.
So, prior to the 20th century, several alleged sightings in the general area related to a large hairy creature circulated in 1851, and it was a report in the Memphis Enquirer and an 1856 report in the Caddo Gazette at Caddo.
I would say Caddo.
Yeah, but local residents claimed that the creature had roamed the area since 1964, but those sightings had not been reported. Local folklore also holds that the creature can be further traced back to sightings in 1946. Most early sightings were allegedly in the region of Jonesville, and the creature was known as the Jonesville Monster during this period.
I feel like I've heard of that.
Yeah, me too.
That sounds familiar.
In 1955, the creature was allegedly spotted by a 14-year-old boy who described it as having reddish-brown hair, sniffing the air, and not reacting when it was fired upon with birdshot. Investigator Joe Nickel observed that the description was consistent with a misidentified black bear. The Fouke monster first made local headlines in 1971 when it was reported to have attacked the home of Bobby and Elizabeth Ford in May 2nd, 1971.
Huh.
According to Elizabeth Ford, the creature, which she initially thought was a bear, reached through the screen window that night while she was sleeping on a couch. It was chased away by her husband and his brother Don. During the alleged encounter, the Fords fired several gunshots at the creature and believed that they had hit it, though no traces of blood were found. An extensive search of the area failed to locate the creature, but 3-toed footprints were found close to the house, as well as scratch marks on the porch and damage to a window in the house's siding. According to the Fords, they had heard something moving around outside late at night several nights prior, but having lived in the house for less than a week, had never encountered the creature before.
Huh. Too bad cameras weren't a thing back then.
Yeah. The creature was allegedly sighted again on May 23rd, 1971, when 3 people, D.C. Woods Jr., Wilma Woods, and Mrs. R.H. Sedgas, reported seeing an ape-like creature crossing U.S. Highway 71. More sighting reports were made over the following months by local residents and tourists who found additional footprints. The best-known footprints were found in a soybean field belonging to a local filling station owner, Scott Keith. Wonder if he knows Jane Janice.
Stop it. That's an inside joke that no one is going to understand. Besides 2 other people.
They were scrutinized by game warden Carl Gallion, who was unable to confirm their authenticity. Like the Ford prints, they appeared to indicate that the creature had only 3 toes.
So are there pictures of that?
I don't know. We'll look it up here in a little bit. The incident began to attract substantial interest after news spread around the Ford sighting. The Little Rock, Arkansas radio station, KAAY, posted a $1,090, not $1,000, but $1,090.
Round that up $10 to $2,000
bounty to the creature. Several attempts were made to track the creature with dogs, but they were unable to follow its scent. When hunters began to take interest in the Fouke monster, Miller County Sheriff Leslie Greer was forced to put a temporary no-guns policy in place in order to preserve public safety.
Yeah, I bet.
In 1971, 3 people were fined $59 for filing a fraudulent monster report. After the initial surge of attention, public interest in the creature decreased until it gained national recognition in 1973 when Charles B. Pierce released a docudrama horror film about the creature in 1972, The Legend of Boggy Creek. By late 1974, interest had waned again and sightings all but stopped, only to begin again in March 1978 when tracks were reportedly found by 2 brothers prospecting in Russellville, Arkansas. There were also sightings in Center Ridge, Arkansas. On June 26 of that same year, a sighting was reported in Crossett, Arkansas. During this period, the creature was blamed for missing livestock and attacks on several dogs.
Oh no.
What a dickhead.
I know, right?
Since the initial cluster of sightings during the 1970s, there have been sporadic reports of the creature. In 1991, the creature was reportedly seen jumping from a bridge. Well, that's not good.
Right.
There were 40 reported sightings in 1997, and in 1998, the creature was reportedly sighted in a dry creek bed 5 miles south of Fouke.
You know, you would think that there would be, I don't know, with as many sightings, there would be some kind of picture.
Yeah.
Or something.
1 month after the Ford sighting, Southern State College, which is now known as Southern Arkansas University, archaeologist Frank Schambach determined that there is a 99% chance the tracks are a hoax.
I mean,
According to Shambach, the tracks could not be from a species of ape as claimed by witnesses because they were from a three-toed creature, whereas all primates, including hominids, have 5 toes.
that and like, where are you gonna get a monkey or an ape in Arkansas? Unless one escaped from a local zoo or something.
Well, I mean, I don't know how prevalent like circuses and stuff were back then, but you know, I know back in like the 1800s and stuff when circuses were more prevalent, you know, they would have to travel by trains and stuff, and sometimes trains would, you know, wreck or whatever, and they would have escaped like lions and stuff like that. And that was only prevalent in my mind because I just heard another podcast that was was given like the history of circuses and how like P.T. Barnum and all his bullshit and stuff. In addition to the number of toes, Shambach cited several other anomalies as part of his conclusion. The region had no history of primate activity, ruling out the possibility of the creature being the remnants of an indigenous species. All apes are completely diurnal, as the Fouke monster was reported to be nocturnal. By 1986, the mayor of Fouke, Virgil Roberts, and former Miller County Sheriff Leslie Greer were of the opinion that the alleged Fouke monster tracks were man-made.
Probably.
Greer's working colleague at the time, Chief Deputy H.L. Phillips, said that he had not taken calls regarding the monster in years. He does not believe the creature exists, stating, "I don't believe in it, but I'd say you don't argue with people who say they've seen it. Many were respectable and responsible folks." The Skeptoid podcast concludes, "So in total, every last shred of evidence that the Fouke monster exists at all is anecdotal. Not a single piece is testable, and the Fouke monster fits very poorly with the model of a living animal, but fits very well with a local legend." I swear, every time I say Fouke, like the fuck monster, monster, you know, whatever. So, there's a festival.
What?
And we need to go.
Okay.
Because I really want to go to the Pickle Festival in Texas.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And the Garlic Festival, that's...
That's in Texas too, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so since 2013, the Fouke Monster Festival, previously called the Boggy Creek Festival, which they should have just kept it as that.
I know, I like the Boggy Creek Festival.
Right. Has been an annual event dedicated to discussions, presentations, and lore related to the creature and other similar monsters. Proceeds benefit the Fouke School District, with over 3,000 having been raised since 2019.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's... Yeah. We need to find out if there's a Mothman Festival.
I'm sure there is.
Fort Augustus needs to have a Nessie Festival. So, there have been several films made about the Boggy Creek Monster.
Oh my lord.
So, the first one, The Legend of Boggy Creek in 1972, is the story of Bobby Ford's encounter with the Fouke monster, was the subject of a 1972 docudrama horror film, The Legend of Boggy Creek. Initially was titled Tracking the Fouke Monster, which played in movies and drive-in theaters around the country. It was written by Earl E. Smith and directed by Charles B. Pierce. The part of Bobby Ford was played by Glenn Carruth, and the part of Elizabeth Ford was played by Bunny Dees. That name sounds familiar. Fouke garage owner Willie E. Smith, on whose land three-toed footprints were found, starred as himself. Many characters were named after the people who played them. Much of the film was shot on location in Fouke and nearby Texarkana, though some scenes were filmed in Shreveport, Louisiana. Most of the cast were local people or Texarkana college students, and the film is believed to have cost about $160,000 to make. And it grossed $20 million at the box office.
Oh my lord, what a profit. Jeez.
Yeah. Which, I mean, back in 1972, there was probably nothing else to do in Arkansas.
Well, I mean, it said it was all over the country, though.
Yeah.
So.
But still, back then, there was nothing else to do besides get drunk and, have babies. Which is pretty much all there is to do where we come from.
Well,
So, in 1977, there was another one called Return to Boggy Creek. And a second Fouke monster film, Return to Boggy Creek, was filmed and released in 1977. The movie had an entirely fictional plot and was not intended to be a sequel. It was directed by Tom Moore, written by John David Woody, and starred Dawn Wells as a mother of 3 children who become lost in the swamp. Some of the film scenes were shot on location in Dallas, Texas, and Lareauville in Iberia Parish, Louisiana. Boggy Creek 2 and the Legend Continues in 1985.
Oh my goodness.
Originally titled The Barbaric Beast of Boggy Creek Part 2.
Good
The
Lord.
third Fouke monster film, that was a mouthful,
Good grief.
was written as a sequel to the original film that Charles B. Pierce wrote, directed, and played the role of Brian Lockhart, a University of Arkansas professor who leads a group of students into the swamps around Fouke. The film was shot on location in Fouke, but included some scenes shot at the University of Arkansas. In 1999, Boggy Creek 2 and the Legend Continues was lampooned in an episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Boggy Creek, The Legend is True, was released in 2010.
Keeps going.
Yeah. This movie was released to home video in 2011. Early buzz suggested that the film, directed by Brian T. James, was to be a remake of Charles B. Pierce's original 1972 film. However, it is an unrelated story set in a fictional town of Boggy Creek, Texas. Even so, the film obviously draws influence from Pierce's film, with its small town setting and use of spooky swampscapes for this southern Sasquatch horror slasher.
Oh my god.
That sounds like my kind of movie.
Yeah.
The Legacy of Boggy Creek was released in 2011. This low-budget indie film was originally released in 2009 under the title The Skunk Ape Story, but was later re-edited and released to home video in 2011 as The Legacy of Boggy Creek. The docudrama chronicles the events that began after the original attacks in Fouke, and it was written and directed by Dustin Ferguson. Boggy Creek Monster in 2016. In 2016, a documentary film about the Fouke monster entitled Boggy Creek Monster was released, directed by Seth Breedlove. Jesus, what a last name. So, that is what I have for you from Arkansas.
It's a lot of movies based around...
I know, something that was discredited. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 movies that we know of. That was inspired by the Boggy Creek Monster. So I just looked up the pictures of the Fouke monster footprints, and the one that they're saying that is like a 3-toed foot, it literally looks like someone's hand, like a cast of a hand, or their arm, and then like they dug 3 fingers into the thing.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that looks like a boot, and then like a dog print in it. Yeah, this is complete bullshit.
Yeah, they look like they're man-made.
We need to start our own thing.
Oh my god, dude.
And capitalize on it. I actually had like a some kind of money-making scheme when I was like 7 that I wanted to do. Like, it was the first time that I had ever seen like someone make something out of concrete. Like, Mom had made something, and so like I was a weird kid and I was obsessed with like Egypt and stuff, you know, like the pyramids when I was a kid. So I wanted to make like my own little mini pyramid and then like advertise it as a pyramid that's just in, you know, they're in town or whatever, and then like charge people to come see it.
That's funny, dude.
Yeah, I was like 7.
That's funny.
But yeah, that's my money making scheme when I was 7. Never happened, but you know.
Well, you know.
But yeah, so that is the Boggy Creek monster, and yeah, it doesn't exist. But there's 7. What I say? 6 or 7 movies
6
based off of it. Yeah. So they made a lot of money from that.
I mean, look, the one just made $20 million.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah. Next week I'm sure Ash will have something for us, and
well, I would assume I'd have something for us.
And my next episode we are going to California. But anyways, so send us pictures of your dogs and your cats.
Yeah.
And if you have a cryptid that you have a picture of, send it to us.
Please.
And if you know of anything interesting in Arkansas besides Walmart and Boggy Creek Monster, let us know.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to be proved wrong about Arkansas being dull and boring.
Yeah, you know. All of our links are going to be in the description under our link tree. So you can find us on socials and email and all of that.
Yeah. And we are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
All the podcasts.
All the stuff.
So rate and review wherever you're listening to us.
Yeah. And or capitalize. Make your own cryptid and capitalize on it. Be the cryptid that you want to see in the world.
Be your own cryptid.
Yes. So
okay.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.